Welcome to Present Poetry, a podcast where we sit back, relax, and enjoy some poets of the past and present. I'm your host, Erin Crittenden, and before we get started on this week's episode, I want to remind you that all of the material used in this podcast is either public domain or used with permission from the author or the author's estate. It's a fun time for all ages, so sit back, relax, and get ready to hear this week's featured poet. This week's featured poet is Emily Newman. Emily Newman is an 18-year-old high school graduate who loves to write and weightlift and wants to empower people with her writing. We are reading a few of her poems that she submitted to us through the forum at presentpoetry.com. This poem is called The Things They Don't Write About. There was no thunder, no warning, just a moment, one heartbeat, then everything inside me went quiet. Not dead, just gone. I left my body like a house on fire. I watched from the outside as someone else's hands turned everything I was into wreckage. They call it trauma like it's clinical. Like it's clean, like it doesn't follow you into the shower, your dreams, or the way you flinch when the door clicks shut too fast. But this is not just trauma. It's the aftermath. It's the unmade no one talks about. The part where you blame yourself, how you fold into your own name, how the shame grosses your teeth, how you whisper no and then wonder if it was loud enough. They write poems about trying to scrub yourself out of your own skin, about crying in the mirror because you're still here, still shaved like what happened. But it's not what happened, it's what's left. I am what refused to stay silent, and it took years to come home to this body, to touch my own skin without flinching, to say mine and truly believe it. You want to know what healing looks like? It's not easy. It's nights that don't end. It's shaking hands that still hold this word. Because yes, my body is a battleground, but I'm not the ruins. I'm the resistance, the aftershock. If they come again with their questions, their doubts, their pity, their polished excuses, I won't just survive. I will rise. I will speak like every woman before me who was told to stay quiet. I will make them see what they tried not to do, because I am not afraid. I am not small. I am not theirs. I am still here, and that is a miracle. This poem is called Sisters of Stone and Silence. I write to you as a hero, not a hunter, but as one who has also been turned into something unrecognizable by hands that never asked permission. They call you a monster, as if rage were not a symptom, as if stone were not a shield, as if your hair did not once grow soft under sunlight and salt wind before it learned to hiss. I know what it's like to be blamed for the aftermath of someone else's violence, to be told to quiet your grief because it makes others uncomfortable. I too have felt the split, that before and after, when the body becomes a battleground and survival feels like sin. They fear your grief because it makes them face themselves. They fear your story because it echoes too loud. It cracks their own cruelty. Because I see you, not the curse, not the crowned, not the beast, but the boundary. And if they ever come again with their swords, I will not look away. I will stand beside you, stone to stone, woman to woman, history to myth, and this time they will be the ones to tremble with all the fierceness they tried to take from me. This poem is called You Are Not a Monster. They told me you were a monster, that your gaze turned into stone, but no one ever said what they did to you first. I see you now, not as a creature, but as a woman who was wronged, twisted into a legend so they could forget their guilt, a myth wrapped around a crime. I know that silence. I know the weight of being blamed for surviving. They call you dangerous because you dared exist after pain. What happened to you has happened to me. Different time, different temple, same story. The shame to blame, the turning away, it's the same. They tried to make me into something ugly too. Said I was too loud about it, too angry, too much. But I see now. My rage is sacred, just like yours. I don't fear your face. I honor it. You didn't deserve what they did to you. Neither did I. If they must call me a monster, let it be with trembling lips. Because monsters like us, we remember, and we're done staying silent. This poem is called Dear Medusa. They only ever tell one part of your story, the part where you became dangerous. They skip the temple, the betrayal, the God who took what he wanted. They leave out the silence that followed. They never speak of how your body became a battleground for someone else's violence and someone else's shame. I used to think you were the villain, all snarling hair and stone eyes, but I see it now. That was never the truth. That was the story they told, so they wouldn't have to look at what they'd done. What they did to you has been done to me. No gods, no marble halls, just a room, a moment, a line crossed, a version of me I will never get back. They didn't turn me into a myth. They just pretended it didn't happen. Told me to smile, to move on, to not make it a thing. But it is a thing. It became everything. Like you, I changed. Not all at once. First, it was the way I flinched. Then the way I hardened. Then the way I stopped looking people in the eyes. I didn't grow snakes, but I grew silent. And then I grew rage. And eventually, I grew power. Not the kind they celebrate. The kind they whisper about. The kind they're afraid of. They fear us, you and me. Because we survived what was meant to break us. Because we carry our pain like armor. Because we stopped apologizing for the way we live now. You weren't a monster, Medusa. You were made into one by a world that could not bear the truth of you. But I see you in mirrors and shadows, in my own reflection. And if I am monstrous now, then so be it. Let my hair be wild. Let my gaze burn. Let me be too much, too angry, too unwilling to forget. Because I finally understand. There is power in being feared when you were once invisible. We are not broken. We are not cursed. We are witnesses, and we are not alone. This poem is called I Did Not Bow. Do not call me cursed. Do not call me myth. I was a girl. He was a god. That's all it took. The temple was quiet. I screamed. No one came. They painted me wicked because they could not bear what they let happen. Because it's easier to hate a woman who survived than a man who never paid. They made me into a warning. Gave me things. Gave me snakes. Gave me a face they could blame. They never asked what it felt like to be turned into something, just so they wouldn't have to look at what they did. I do not regret the stone. I do not regret the silence that followed. I regret only the years I spent thinking it was my fault. I carry the rage now, sharp, heavy, unapologetic. And if they come again, to take, to twist, to silence, I will not bow. I will not break. I will not shut my eyes to make them comfortable. Let them see me. Let them fear me. Let them know I did not become a monster. I was made into one, and I made it mine. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Present Poetry Podcast. If you enjoyed the show, feel free to like us, leave a review, or share us on social media. If you are a poet or you know someone who is, we would love to hear from you. You can reach out to us or submit your work through our website, which is www.present-poetry.com. Again, that is www.present-poetry.com. We can't wait to hear from you.